Friends, I'd like to talk now very briefly about a tradition that I think needs changing. Over 300 years before our era started, Aristotle said that lyrics are the outpouring of personal feelings, and that has come down into our time as if it's true. Now, when you come to someone like Shakespeare, the tradition that lyrics are the outpouring of our personal feelings comes down on his sonnets. And people say, oh, the sonnets are autobiographical. They tell you about what he feels and so on. Friends, Shakespeare is a dramatist. Why can't he have written these sonnets as dramatic entities rather than as personal outpourings? It seems to me there's no reason to think of them as personal feelings. But there is a tradition that wants that to be the case. Well, his initial sonnets are devoted to someone who loves a young man, telling the young man to make women pregnant so that as his beauty fades, as all of our beauties fade in age, as his beauty fades, he can be regenerated in children who are beautiful. Well, that's a wonderful thought, but it's not the kind of thought one normally would have if one were gay. And there's a great dispute about whether or not Shakespeare was, in addition to being heterosexual, he was married to a woman much older than he, and they had 3 children together. Let's not go down that street now. In any case, in this set of sonnets, the love between the young man and the older person, who is presumed to be Shakespeare, though why that presumption should be made, I don't know. He doesn't identify himself as such. In any case, in those few first set of sonnets, he says to the young man, have sex with women, make them pregnant, so that your beauty can be regenerated and preserved as you grow old and lose that beauty. And indeed, then in the 20th sonnet, we find a sonnet directly about the love between this older person and the younger person. It's a fascinating poem, and I'd like to start with that one. Okay. A woman's face, with nature's own hand painted, hast thou, the master mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as is false women's fashion. And I, more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the subject whereupon it gazeth, a man in hue, all hues in him, in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls, amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a doting, and by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. Oh, this sonnet has been used by gay people to say Shakespeare was gay. And it has been used by non-gay people to say Shakespeare was not gay. It's a wonderful argument. I see no reason to choose either side because it means nothing to me whether Shakespeare was gay or not. Being gay is fine, and not being gay is fine. But what the poem says, in any case, is that this young man was created so beautiful that he should have been a woman, except that nature so enjoyed molding, creating this beautiful young man that she added something to his purpose, nothing. That something being a penis. And if you miss that, the couplet makes it very clear. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure. So let's take a look at that sonnet one more time and we're done. A woman's face with nature's hand. Pardon. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted hast thou, the master mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as is false women's fashion. An eye more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the subject whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls, amazeth. And for a woman wast thou first created, for means to be, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a doting and added one thing. For my purpose, nothing. Pardon me. And by addition, me of thee defeated by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. Wonderful poem about love of one man for another. Is it biographical? Why not, or why? Let it be what it is, a magnificent poem of love between two people, which transcends sexuality for some readers, and which necessarily says it does that for those who want to say Shakespeare was gay. Let it be how you will, but perhaps think of it as a dramatic rather than a biographical poem about a situation that he might have written a play about. Thanks for being with me, friends. See you next time.